You're tuned in to the Brand Ambassador Select Podcast.
Welcome back to the Brand Ambassador Select Podcast, where we are showcasing the coolest brands and gifts while featuring movers and makers. I'm your host, Lenore, and so canned and bottled cocktail drinks have really been on the rise the last couple of years. I do remember it was like I was a senior in college and I brought a canned drink to a party. Everybody made fun of me, and look at us now in 2021, and all those guys and girls that made fun of me are bringing those to my house too. So I am looking forward to introducing you to MYX Fusions. It's a blend, well, not this specific one. This is MYX Light. It's a brand new one that we're introducing to you today. But MYX Fusions overall is a premium Moscato and natural fruit juices. You may recognize them because Nicki Minaj is a part owner of the company. And with the help of Peter Reaske as CEO, MYX Fusions became one of the fastest selling brands in the ready-to-drink category in less than 2 years. So they do have their Moscato and their Sangria that I mentioned earlier, and we are debuting today their brand new MYX Light. We have the Rosé, we have the Chardonnay behind us, and I'm so excited to try these for the first time ever. So, Peter, welcome to the Brand Ambassador Select Podcast.
Thanks, Lenore. It's good to be here. Happy Tuesday.
So tell us a little bit more about MYX Fusions and what makes it really stand out from its competitors.
First, I'm excited that you're going to try it first time. That's pretty cool. So MYX is an interesting kind of product. I started the company about 8 years ago with some friends and family, some investors and that sort of thing. And it started with a simple idea that wine was a little fluffy, a little too cute. We call it the, pop the cork, swirl it, sniff it, taste it. And that's good. I enjoy a great glass of wine as well. But we were kind of noticing some trends out there. And the trends were a lot of younger people, everyone over 21, of course, were entering into the wine market in the space of kind of like in place of beer or spirits or whatever. And actually wine has seen good growth over the last 10 years. But we saw a missed opportunity. And the missed opportunity was more of an occasion than anything else. And that occasion, I came from the beer business. I used to run a company called Foster's out of Australia and Treasury Wine Estates, Behringer and all that. So I was kind of around both worlds. And so the occasion was more of what do you do when you're on the deck and there's a cooler of stuff out there? Or what do you do if you're at a tailgate? Or those sort of things. And the answer is normally you open that cooler, and the cooler you'd see some beer. You might see a Corona or Budweiser or something like that. And now in the world of seltzers, you probably see some seltzers in there, but that's relatively a new phenomenon in the last 4 years, 3 years kind of stuff. So you open it up and you're not a beer drinker and you go, what's for me? And there might be, you could have a big bottle of wine in there, but if you drink out of a big bottle, you might be saying something a little different. Okay.
Or you may not even finish the bottle. That's what I have the problem with. If I crack open white, red, even just champagne, no matter what it is, I'm never going to finish it alone. And it always aggravates me because I leave the bottle in the fridge. I'll get to it.
Yep.
And then a week later, it's kind of dead. Like you can't really drink it because it got a little sour and stuff.
It certainly depends on the varietal. Some go quicker than others. But if you're talking about a sparkling like a Prosecco or a champagne or whatever, that carbonation's gone. And so you really got to, and that's very, very quickly gone, actually. So you really have to, pay attention. And a lot of people don't want to drink a whole bottle of wine. So now we go into, we want to play something. And by the way, you can have a drink, right? But you're going to need a glass, you're going to need ice, you're going to need the garnish, you're going to need some sort of mixer or whatever. So it's not all that convenient. So that was our first kind of insight. The second insight was where people were entering into the wine category. And that goes back to my comment on the pull the cork, sniff it, sommelier, is this a 1992, kind of stuff.
Can you do that?
I can do that, but, I just look down the right and I think the higher the price of wine, the better it is. That's kind of my go-to in a fancy joint like a Morton's or something.
Yeah.
So the idea was basically this. So this is it's a 187 or about an 8-ounce bottle of wine. Okay. To kind of give comparison, if you fly and you get a little bottle of wine on a plane, That's the same size. Okay. But I think my bottle looks a little bit better.
It's
Okay.
cute. It's like what, 8, 10, 12 ounces?
About 8 ounces. So it's called a split. Okay. So you need 4 of these to equal a bottle of wine. Okay. So a bottle of wine is 750 milliliters or about 25 ounces. This is about 8 ounces. Okay. So that's the first thing we said. All right, let's make it uh, a smaller bottle so that it's basically a little over a glass of wine in a bottle. Two, let's follow the trends, and the trends were actually going a little sweeter wines. Okay, not so dry, not that 1992 big Cabernet, but something that's a little easier to drink, especially in certain kind of occasions and settings. Okay, so we did that. So we picked originally Moscato, which was a growing varietal. I don't know if you like or try Moscato,
I
but
usually like
Moscato
everything, so we're good here.
total.
I'm down. At
Okay.
least, you know what? At least I'm down. I'm way more adventurous with trying new alcohols, wines, things like that versus food.
Yeah.
So I'm down. Let me just try. That's why I'm excited to try these. And I like Moscato.
Oh,
So
good.
that's the one you
So
have in front of you.
So what we do is, I can give you all the wine geeky stuff. It's a Gordo Moscato. This was actually imported from Australia, the wine itself. Also, we thought we did a bunch of flavors. This is my peach. We did a coconut, a mango, just a pure Moscato, whatever. And some of the thinking behind that was actually, I was looking at the craft beer business. And when I was growing up, so I think I'm a little older than you, I go into a bar and the choices might be Bud, Miller, maybe a Heineken, maybe a Guinness or something like that. And when I went with a bunch of friends, we'd all say, give us 6 Budweisers. Now you kind of go into a bar or a restaurant or whatever, and there's 20 taps, and Fred's going to have something, Peter's going to have something, Lenore's going to have another thing. And, so it's like, why do I have to drink what you want? I want to drink what I want. So that was another thought. And so we took the Moscato, we put in, this one's blended with natural peach juice. Okay. And then we did a little special, we carbonated it, put a little bit of carbonation in it. It's about half the carbonation of champagne. So it's bubbly, but it doesn't over bubbleize you, if I say, which is not a word.
But I get you. It's like that you feel it in your tummy, like all bubbling in there.
If you drink a whole bottle of champagne, you're kind of going to feel a little bloated and that sort of stuff. Okay. And then just for a little bit of fun, it's a twist off cap. I don't know if you can see that, but it's like a Miller Light or something like that. So in the cooler you go. I don't want a beer. There's some wine. Okay. And we called it MYX because it's mixed with different fruit juices. Okay. And then we have a line of Moscatos and what have you. Again, those flavors I described, coconut, mango, peach, and original. And then we went into the sangria business. So we also have a tropical sangria and a classical sangria, all offered in these 187 bottles. Okay. So
these sangria mixes have the alcohol in them, right? They're not like sangria mix that you didn't have to incorporate.
Correct. And they're all actually relatively low alcohol. So we define alcohol with a term called ABV, which is alcohol by volume. So this mix here has 5.5% ABV. Okay. So again, kind of like a beer.
I was just going to say that because a lot of the seltzers and the beers are in like that 4.5, 4.8, maybe hitting a 5. Like those IPAs are obviously a little bit more up there, but wine is different. Like wines, I feel like is always going to be a little bit higher because of how it's made. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my somewhat research telling me.
Yeah, and that's true. Okay. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about MYX Light and how it's a little different, but basically we get the 5.5% alcohol by adding juices. Okay, so it brings it down a little bit. And there's a word that's kind of used globally, which is sessionability. Okay, so if you're in that back on your deck in that cooler situation, and you're going beer for a glass of wine, right? You're going to be able to kind of be a little more mellow by only having a 5.5% glass of wine versus typical wines go from 10 to 15% or double the alcohol that this has. Okay, so that's what we did, and we've been pretty successful. So we're sold in just about every state. Still working on Alaska and Utah, and we go through a network of distributors that comes in these 4-packs like that. Okay, so there's 4 bottles or a bottle of wine in a 4-pack, and the price is somewhere under $10, somewhere between $8.99, $9.99.
That's perfect.
So just easy and that sort of stuff. And if you get a chance, you had mentioned that you had liquor store recently. I hope that's okay. And if you remember what those little bottles of wine used to look like, the little airline bottles.
Yeah, the shooters.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's really what it was for, right? It was to kind of, sneak a glass of wine when maybe you shouldn't, maybe in a movie theater or what have you. And it really wasn't too great looking, but I think you'd be proud to hold this in your hand and that sort of stuff.
No,
as
I
opposed
love the design. The peach, may I don't want to make it sound bad, but the peach makes me think of like you kind of made it like a Moscato Bellini instead of like a.
Matter of fact, in a few of my restaurants, they use it as a Bellini base, and they might bump it up a little bit with another spirit. But anyways, and then so we just like to say that we got a bottle that you'd be proud to drink right out of it. It's good. And as opposed to, again, drinking a big bottle of wine or
True.
drink,
What made
or
you
drinking
guys?
air.
What made you guys decide the glass bottles for the Moscato, for the Sangria versus, which we'll get to, the lights that are in the cans?
Yeah, there actually wine in can back then. I wish I had the foresight. Wasn't a real thing, right? I mean, there were some wines in cans, but very few, and that goes back to what wine was supposed to be, which is to pull the cork, sniff it, whatever. So drinking wine out of a can, oh my gosh, the sommelier
Faux
would not.
pas.
Oh, it's gonna taste like a can. It's not aged properly, whatever, and that's all BS. And it depends on of course, the wines and the varietals. But Moscato is a fresh wine. You grow it, you turn it into wine, you drink it right away. Okay, so there's no laying it away or aging it for 10 years, rolling it over, all that sort of stuff. So uh, the reality is I didn't think of it, and I wish I had, because now, and we'll get into it when we talk about MYX Light, but now canned wine is not only accepted, but fairly popular. And mostly because of convenience. There's a lot of occasions that a big bottle of wine doesn't fit, or even a small bottle of wine. And you can, things like the beach, things like sporting venues, that sort of stuff. So that's the reason that we did bottles initially. And I wanted it to be individual. I wanted it to be drinkable out of the bottle. I wanted it to be accessible, and etc. So that's what we kind of did, and we've sold millions of bottles so far. So it's knock on wood.
Yeah, well, congratulations to all of your success, Peter, because I know that once you kind of got on board and, went over to MYX, you like whipped everybody into shape and now have a best-selling item, which is incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate that compliment. And it takes a village. We have lots of cool people that worked on it with me, and it's been a blast for me. I love to learn, and I've learned so much about consumer attitudes and how wine fits with them or whatever when I was just the old beer guy, and so it's really cool to do that. So
what did you think you've learned from some of the people you've worked with, from going from beer to now the wine?
well, good things. Well, one, wine is not brewed. Wine is picked from grapes and fermented, and it's a much more, beer's kind of natural too, but it's a much less forced. The grapes do it on their own. You add some yeast and away you go. Okay, so there is more variance in wine. Depending on what the grapes are, so actually getting a wine that is consistent from bottle to bottle, given different years that the grapes were picked and fermented, is pretty interestingly tough. Okay, so because I think you'd have some liberty if you were a Cabernet and you could say this is a good year and it tastes a little different and whatever. But when you get into a product like mine, you want it to taste the same every time. And I kind of learned that was important. I learned about distribution channels. For instance, I think you're based in New Jersey, so you can buy wine and liquor and whatever in the same stores. But if you went across the bridge to New York, if you want booze, you want vodka, you got to go to a liquor store. You want wine, you got to go to a liquor store. You want beer. So actually, there was a distribution opportunity, which I can sell this in beer stores in the state of New York. Okay, so you can buy this in the deli. You can buy this at the liquor store. You could buy this at a beer distributor or what have you. So that was another kind of key to what I've learned. And there are some states that also comply with that sort of rule, but it's since it's under 6% alcohol, you're allowed to do that. So really kind of a good advantage.
I do hope one day that New Jersey allows me to like go into a pharmacy and get some like beer or wine and stuff, because I do get jealous when I go into other states. I'm like, I literally just had to go get my medicine and I could have gotten a drink. What?
Yeah. No, it's an interesting. It actually goes back to prohibition, ancient laws, ancient rules. The federal government left it up to the states to design it, and they're all kind of different. It makes it complex. There's really, 50 different countries out there that you have to sell in. You have to comply with each of the rules in each of the states, and some of them are kind of bizarre, and some of them are straightforward. So I kind of learned that.
Okay, Peter, I'm ready to crack open my MYX Lights, which is 75 calories a glass, and it's telling me to salute. So I hope you have one so I can cheers with you.
I absolutely do. I'll have one. Hold on.
So this is it's 5%. This is the MYX Rosé Lights. Like I said, 75 calories per glass. And it says a 250 milliliter can is equal to 1.7 glasses of wine. Okay, cool.
That's correct. So this is a little bit larger than the 187. Okay. And so 4 of these make up more a liter of wine versus a 750 one. So most big bottles of wine are 750 liters. But if you get a bottle of vodka, that's 1 liter as an example. So part of the reason is, to be straight, these are the cans that are available. Okay. Because I'm not a can manufacturer, I just buy them. By the way, cheers.
Oh yeah, wait, let me open it. I see it all coming out. Okay, cheers.
Your viewers, make sure it's cold.
Oh, it is cold. We had the ice packs coming in.
So the thinking behind this.
I like this.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
This doesn't even taste like wine. I feel like I'm drinking juice.
It's a very sessionable, drinkable wine. That wine is Italian. So it's Italian rosé and Italian Chardonnay.
Holy moly.
I can describe the taste, but basically you're going to taste some strawberry. You're going to take some, different fruits in it. So that's where you're picking up the juice kind of feel. So the 2 trends that I noticed, one I noticed and got it right after 8 years, which was the can thing. Okay. The other thing I didn't get right again was this trend in lower alcohol, healthier alcohol. Alcohol is not healthy. Okay.
Duh.
If you drink too much or whatever. So I'm very resistant to say healthy alcohol, but it's healthier. Okay. So this has less sugar, 75 calories a serving, lower carbohydrates, and more importantly, local alcohol. So I thought that, the idea was everybody wanted a good stiff drink. But reality is people want a sessionable, drinkable product. And I think if you look at things like the seltzer category, that's kind of why it's booming, right? It's a vodka feeling drink with seltzer and a flavor in it. And that's become a $5 billion category. I'm not $5 billion.
So Peter, I used to get made fun of when I was graduating college, it was probably like 2015. Yeah, 2016-ish. I remember bringing like a seltzer thing to a party and everybody laughed at me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just need something that's a little bit lighter. Like, don't hate me for this. And guess what? Look at us now. Where are we now, Peter?
Exactly, right. So I missed that trend. I was like, wait a minute, people want to, maybe I'd sell more mix peach if it was 12%. But reality is you want something that you can, again, go drink for drink, is, and I think, and this is my um, tainted opinion, okay? I find something very natural about wine. It's from grapes. There's not a lot of different things in here, okay? So there's basically wine, and there's some juice, and there's some water, and that sort of thing. And we do a little trick, and it's called early harvest. Okay, so think that you're a grape grower, okay,
Hmm.
and you're going to pick your grapes when they're perfectly full of flavor and ready to go. Okay, and that's the only time you can pick them. Well, not true. Okay, you can do an early harvest. So grapes grow, and then as they mature, they go higher and higher in sugar content. Okay, and what sugar content can do is, one, when you're fermenting it, the yeast, guess what it wants to eat?
The
And
sugar.
convert that sugar into alcohol.
Mm.
Okay, so if you have a high sugar content, it's harder to control the alcohol in a natural way. Okay, the second thing is all the flavors in the grape still. Okay, it just doesn't have that high sugary flavor. So if you're doing table grapes and you're eating grapes, you really want that. But in a wine, if you early harvest it, you can control the alcohol, still have all the flavor, reduce the sugar. Everything is, so we pick the grapes early. We pick them at the beginning of the growing cycle, not at the end. And that gives us the ability to deliver both this rosé and the Chardonnay. So you ready to try the Chardonnay?
I don't know. This rosé is way too good.
Wait till you try the Chardonnay.
Oh no. Okay.
It's, I'm not allowed to have favorites, buy everything, but
Is the Chardonnay a little bit?
yeah, that's my favorite.
Okay.
So cheers.
Yeah, I was wondering why it said early harvest wine at the top of things. So thanks for explaining that. And wait, are they both gluten free?
They're both gluten free.
Oh, perfect. Not that I have a problem, but like
Well,
people
cheers.
do.
And no secret, most wines are gluten free.
Oh, this is okay.
Okay.
I gotta drive home.
Well,
Gotta find something.
0.5% alcohol,
My couple sips, I'll make it. Wow, this is really good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We worked really hard on it. It was a trickier formula. I hate to use formula with wine.
Mhm.
Trickier formula than that, And basically, how I pick the flavors is I just see what's popular. Peach is a really cool flavor. A lot of people like peach.
Yeah.
Coconut is kind of polarizing. I always say that I hate coconut. I just don't like the flavor. And if I'm at a ritzy pool and someone's pouring on tropical suntan lotion next to me that smells like coconut, I'll move. But there's people that are passionate about the flavor of coconut.
True.
With these, I just picked Chardonnay as the number one white varietal, and rosé is very growing and popular, pretty seasonal, but it's just an easy to drink wine to begin with.
So I don't want to say these are both, I don't know, maybe because the pink in this like light blue, aqua green color
Mhm.
is catered towards women, but like I love that you are a man on the other end of this Zoom call telling me that you helped create this, because sometimes guys see these colors and like, it's for a woman.
Yeah.
Not for me, but I don't know why they won't want this.
So it's interesting. All men drink wine and all women drink beer. Okay. Statistically, 80% or whatever, right? They just drink it at different amounts. Okay. So you might be a beer drinker, it sounded like you are, and a wine drinker, but you probably drink wine more often than you drink beer.
You got me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Men drink wine, but they probably drink beer more often than wine. So that affects the volumetrics, but not who consumes it. And yeah, these are pretty colors. We kind of color coded them to say rosé, to say Chardonnay. It's tough to do Chardonnay because Chardonnay is a clear white wine. So that wasn't very good packaging.
Can you imagine if it's the clear bottle? It's like, oh, hey.
I thought of it. We looked at it, but so yeah. So I would say that it is kind of skewed to young adult women for sure as a target market, but everybody drinks wine, and during my, I'm not a big company. I don't do, big omnibus studies and have 100 focus groups a year, but I do get out with and share my product socially and kind of watch what goes on. And I say sometimes you get beered out a little bit. It's like, yeah, I've been drinking beer all day or whatever, or I've had my 2 beers, and and I want something a little different, something a little refreshing, what have you. And sometimes wine fits that occasion, and vice versa. I'm kind of wined out. Maybe I'll have a beer now. So I think it really is co-ed for sure. Well, I can drink a pink clown. I'm wearing a pink shirt. I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I don't care either. I'm down to show these to like my husband, my guy friends, because I usually am the one that will bring different sort of canned drinks around, and I think that more and more, because I am a millennial, my other fellow, millennial ages have started bringing them around too. They're like, oh, we found something new. We found something new. So I'm excited. The next time I'm going out with my girlfriends this weekend, and I'm gonna be like, I gotta find this so I can bring it with us to go for them to try it. And I do think that having, as a co-owner for MYX as Nicki Minaj, it does really help, reach that audience.
Yeah, she's our single largest shareholder, and she's been involved from day one. She's not promoting the product right now, but she's still the owner and has insight and input into everything we do. She's going through some life changes. She's had a baby and stuff like that.
Mom life, you can't really argue with that.
Can't argue with that, but during pregnancy, alcohol, you kind of stay away from that a little bit, right?
You think?
But we should. And so she's been an inspiration for me, and that was another learn for me. I mean, I probably didn't know most of her music, if any. I might have known Starship or something like that, and now I'm kind of a Nicki freak. I really enjoy her music and stuff. One last comment on cans. I just feel obligated to. There are a lot of wine cans out there now. It is a popular trend, and I hope it continues to be, because I think it's a great package for wine. Nothing wrong with it, but I think there's some mistakes out in the marketplace. So a lot of wineries just took their regular wine and put it in a can. Okay, there are a lot of different sizes of cans. So this is a 250 milliliter. There's a beer can is 355 milliliters. Or 375 milliliters, depending on the beer. And so if you take Fred's wine, red, and you just put it in a can, and it's a beer can size, and it's 12% alcohol, I think that kills the sexiness of it. I think that kills the occasion of it, because now you're drinking almost 3 glasses of wine in a can. You're going to drink it like a beer, because you're used to drinking 12 ounces of a beer at a time. And I just think it's some of the less inspired canned wines out there. I'm worried that they might blunt the category a little bit, because and they're expensive too. You might get a beer can size of wine, and it's going to be $8.99 to $11. Looking at the bottle, I can buy a bottle for $14.
I've tried, I mean, listen, I went to college. I saw the box wines. They were something in itself. Okay. I'm not the biggest fan of those. And I wasn't, I couldn't really find wine in a can that I really liked. And I've picked up a couple different ones, and I'm thoroughly surprised on how delicious these are.
Thank you.
Like I will actually buy these. And I'm not trying to, suck up to you, because I see you right now.
That's okay. Just as long as you're buying them, you can do whatever.
Yeah, I can do whatever, right? No, I'm very surprised, because so you can't just put any sort of wine in a can. It has to be like made for a can.
Well, you can. There's a lot of things like, you got to pick up the flavor, but all cans are lined. There is certain certifications in certain markets, like California, of course, has a different rule. But I just follow the California rule, and then I roll that out to the other states. So, but you can put any wine in a can as long as it's the appropriate can. So, but I'll take your compliment. It took us a long time to come up with a formula that was everything we wanted to be for a better, healthier.
I know, wine. I know, 100%, because I try to choose the healthier option, Which is in my math in my head, I'm like, wow, if I have one glass and it's like, 150 calories, now I can have 2 glasses for 150 calories, 75 each. So why wouldn't I want to choose something that's a little less?
And be in more control.
Yes.
We've all, if you went to college, I got drunk once in college,
Really?
And now what I dislike is losing control. I like to be in the moment. I like to relax, but I don't want to be
bye, see you later type of thing.
Why is he sleeping on the hammock? No.
Wow, wait, that's actually a really nice option to sleep on a hammock. It's probably very comfortable, Peter.
It probably is. But if it was my friends, I'd end up with no eyebrows or something like that.
So those are the type of people I want to be around. So where are you located? I want to come hang out with you guys.
Please, you're welcome.
So
anyway, that's the story. Go ahead.
So so you can get any MYX Fusion or MYX Lights. You can head to MYXfusions.com. That's MYXfusions.com. You could check them out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, MYX Fusions, and the liquor stores, right? Go straight to the liquor stores and grab yours.
There's a finder on there. You can plug in your zip code and it'll tell you where the stores are and that sort of thing. So MYX Light's brand new, so it's not on the website yet, folks, but it's coming. If you want to find a store, just send us an Instagram and we'll follow up. We've got folks that pretty much answer everyone. So sometimes we get overwhelmed when Nicki was posting and it went to 8 million views or something like that. We didn't respond to all those. But if you go right to our website or our social media at MYX Fusions, let us know where you are and we'll tell you how to find it.
Perfect. Maybe I'll even start going to my local liquor store and be like, whatever his name is. So, when are you getting these in yet?
Well,
next week?
That's
after?
a great thing to do because liquor stores want to bring you back, and they want to feel like you're catering to them. So you can pretty much ask a liquor store for anything, and if you're going to buy it, they'll bring it in. And it's as simple as telling their distributor to go online, they'll order a case.
Wow.
And
that easy.
They're pretty accommodating to consumers. To salespeople, what's in it? Got any tickets to the Mets? I don't know.
I'll take them.
Yeah, right.
What else are you giving me, Peter? I'm in.
Got it. Well, there's rules, and I'm not really allowed to do that. So, but anyways, once again, the alcohol rules.
Exactly. So, Peter Reaske, you are the CEO of MYX Fusion Beverages. You've done so much in the last couple of years for being on their team. And thank you for introducing us to MYX Light specifically today that you can go get in your stores right now that are fresh, like on the market. And I'm excited to try I really want the peach. Because I have MYX Fusions up in front of me. No, I don't want the sangria. I'm down for sangria. Don't get me wrong. But
Very special, by the way. It's my second favorite. But,
I want the peach Moscato.
That's Spanish wine imported from Spain, mixed with botanicals and grapefruit, and it's special.
It is Taco Tuesday.
There you go. That's easy, right?
It's Taco Tuesday.
We need to fire things up, As one of Nicki's songs goes, tonight I'm going to get twisted, mix Moscato on a vodka. I'm a mix. So, if you need a cocktail, put a little Grand Marnier in it or something like that.
Sounds like a plan. So, Peter, again, thank you so much for introducing us to MYX Light and all the MYX Fusion drinks. Once again, MYXfusions.com. That's MYXfusions.com. Now, that is a wrap on another episode of the Brand Ambassador Select Podcast. I'm your host, Lenore. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss one. More at brandambassadorselect.com. And I think I'm going to go with the rosé to end off today's show. So, once again, you'll take the Chardonnay. Cheers. And until next time, friends.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.